And I ask people, how many of you will take this? And the vast majority are saying, I'm not taking this. And then I ask them, why not? It's fun. It's fun. It's no effort. And they said, this is the problem. It's not ethical. I didn't work for it. I didn't sweat for it. And I said, this is exactly my point. We will appreciate achievements that are hard. We will appreciate achievements that we could fail, but then we succeeded. The more there is a risk, the more there is an investment, the more there is a reward. The same thing with the employees. If you're going to give it easy and simple and fun and whatever, nobody would feel a sense of purpose. Nobody will feel a sense of achievement. Nobody goes home and says, oh, I got a free pizza today. This is the best company in the world. But when they say, I helped someone today, I was powerful, I conquered, I had a challenge, and I was able to do that, that's where you're going to get purpose.
This is Get Unstuck Podcast, a podcast for entrepreneurs who prioritize their life first, business second. I'm Mudita Panmuk, your host, who dedicates my life to designing and building a business that supports lifestyle. We will learn together from entrepreneurs around the world how they overcome their life challenges, their business obstacles, and yet still get unstuck from the hamster wheel of burying themselves into their business. Because time is the number one commodity in the world that you cannot get back once it's gone. So let's shorten the learning curve and see how can we prioritize better. Let's get unstuck. 1. Hi, Get Unstuck Nation. Lior Arussy is known as one of the world's leading customer experience and business transformation expert, the founder of Strativity Group, and he worked with brands that we have heard on daily basis actually, such as Mercedes-Benz, Delta Airlines, Walmart, and many more. And his new release book, let me tell you, Dare to Order. We're going to talk about this book a little bit shortly because it's going to be amazing. And he also have written many books as well. You know, we are so honored to have him on the show today and so appreciate your time, Lior. So to be a guest on Get Unstuck Podcast today, without further ado, then please welcome Lior to the show. So hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. I'm really excited to join the show.
Yeah, I'm very excited because I have been watching your video and I'm like, wow, you are so inspiring speaker, and I'm excited to learn more about what you're going to share your experience today.
Sure. Let's start the conversation.
So before we get started, I would love to learn more. How did you get started this entrepreneurial journey though?
So my career journey actually started with two high-tech technology startups, one that did very well and one that didn't do so well. And after that, I moved to HP. I was involved in the internet security division of HP worldwide. And from there, I moved to another technology company called NICE, which is in the call center business. This is actually a moment where I remember one of my customers installed the latest technology. Really, they had the best of the best technology, and they still failed in their goals. And I remember calling the head of the customer service, and I said, what happened? You have the best technology. And he said to me, Lior, even a fool with a tool is still a fool. And I said, what? He said to me, the technology is not going to solve my problem. I need to solve my problem, and I don't know how to solve my problem. So I thought I'll take a shortcut and I'll buy a technology, and then my problem will go away. But I don't know what I'm doing. So I started to look for other consulting capabilities to help him succeed and so on and so forth, and I did not find it. So I decided to start it. So like many other entrepreneurs, I fell into this opportunity because I saw my customers struggling, and I saw that they do not have a solution because everybody only gave them a small piece of the solution, but not the full solution. And I said, there must be a better way, like many other entrepreneurs. And that's when I started Strativity. I started from my garage with, little money to start. And thank God I was able to build it up to about 150 consultants with offices in Australia, in London, in Canada, in the US. And we were ranked one of the top 3 right next to McKinsey and Bain when it comes to business transformation.
Wow. So you focus on the product first and then customer experience, or which one actually come first for you in your opinion?
In my world, every company have 3 components that they need to look at: the employee, the customer, and the product. Okay. A lot of products are never going to be perfect. And then the question is, what is the experience that the customer is getting, which is highly dependent on what is the experience that the employee is getting. We've actually been able to do a lot of research to demonstrate the linkage that if your employees are actually engaged at the highest level, then you're going to hit the highest customer satisfaction scores and more profitability. But here, Mutita, is the interesting thing. I believe that there is a misunderstanding as to what is an employee engagement, because everybody thinks that employee engagement is to give them more swag and more gifts and more vacation days and do you have a friend working for you and all this. No, we have found that there are two drivers that increase the employee retention and the employee satisfaction. And the driver number one is I understand the impact that I make on the customer. And the driver number two is I have the tools to get the job done. These are the two drivers that we correlated to show that if employees convinced about that, then they will deliver the most exceptional performance and the customer is going to get the most exceptional customer experience.
Oh, so knowing what to do to get the job done, and also, what is another one? Sorry.
The impact. I see the impact that I make. You see, people want to be powerful. They want to be impactful. People want to be able to impact other people. So if I don't get to see how other people are benefiting from my work, something is lacking in my ability to be satisfied because I don't see the outcome. When you see the smile on somebody's face and they are using something I did, that's the most rewarding thing. So this plus giving them the tools to get the job done. And here's for all the entrepreneurs who are employing people. When you ask your employee to be responsible, the word responsible stands for response able, the ability to respond. So you have to ask yourself, have I provided my people with the ability to respond? If you want them to be engaged, they need to have the ability to respond.
Wow. Okay. A lot of light bulb over there.
Mm-hmm.
What about employees' happiness or joyful workspace that they are having right now? Is that matters according to your research for employee engagement?
It's a fun conversation, okay? But I am yet to see an employee saying, I'm staying here because they gave me a free t-shirt.
Oh.
I don't think that that's the reason. You can provide employees with free meals and free fun, but really people are looking for purpose. And I think that trying to confuse happiness with purpose is a very, very big mistake. I've seen a lot of companies throwing big parties, concerts, all sorts of things. Their people are not going to stay because they get a free pizza. Their employees are going to stay because they get to impact somebody. Because at the end of the day, our needs is to feel important, to feel valuable, to feel impactful. So I would challenge a lot of people. The fun workplace is nice, but it's more like a basic. It's not going to keep them. It's an expense.
I read a book called Vivid Vision, and I just changed the way, because we are small business, right? This is so easy for us to change. So what we do is that what we want to experience from the first step, either they are clients, customer, or even team members, what they want to experience, like drive the whole story, that this is exactly how internally want to speak about our company and how our staff will speak to outsider as well. So that's how I solve this problem by myself, to be honest. I don't know whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah, no, it's a good starting pad. But let me give you an example. In the book, Dare to Author, I describe an exercise that I do in my workshops. And I offer people who have the ambition to run a marathon, but they don't have the discipline to exercise. So I said, look, here I have a special deal for you. You will register for the marathon. You'll wear the special number. You run the first 500 meters. Then on the side street, I'll wait for you with a car. I will drive you to the end. You'll run the last 500 meters. You cross the finish line and you get the medal. And I ask people, how many of you will take this? And the vast majority are saying, I'm not taking this. And then I ask them, why not? It's fun. It's fun. It's no effort. And they said, this is the problem. It's not ethical. I didn't work for it. I didn't sweat for it. And I said, this is exactly my point. We will appreciate achievements that are hard. We will appreciate achievements that we could fail, but then we succeeded. The more there is a risk, the more there is an investment, the more there is a reward. The same thing with the employees. If you're going to give it easy and simple and fun and whatever, nobody would feel a sense of purpose. Nobody will feel a sense of achievement. Nobody goes home and says, oh, I got a free pizza today. This is the best company in the world. But when they say, I helped someone today, I was powerful, I conquered, I had a challenge, and I was able to do that, that's where you're going to get purpose.
Wow. Okay. Everyone who's still listening to this, you have to start thinking already. It's not only the purpose driven for your company though, but how your team members or employees feel about your company. That's how they stay. And that's also solve the layout or retention as well, isn't it?
Yes. And I want your listeners to take a very interesting quick tip that they can apply. I want them to review the last staff meetings that they have done in the last 90 days and ask themselves, what portion of the time did they dedicate to talk about the impact that we make on customers, our purpose, and our mission? And I would guarantee you that it's less than 5%. Yet this is more important than you ordering them what to do, because they need to understand the context and they need to understand the power that they have. It's not just why we're here, but the power that you have to make a difference in people's lives. And this is a simple thing, but we don't do it. We don't lead with mission. We don't lead with purpose. We lead with ordering them with stuff like that. So that's thing number one. The second thing is, in my book, I talk about the fact that purpose is not going to be given to you by the company. And I use a very interesting analogy. If you've been to a museum, you'll see different type of visitors. There are visitors who are saying, I'm not going to put any investment. I'm going to look at the picture and the picture is going to talk to me. They're not getting much. Then there are those who are hiring those headphones and they're listening to the guidance. So they're a little bit more invested. There is a chance that they're going to get something out of it. And then there are those people who actually learned before about the painter, and they are engaged totally differently. And my message is, purpose is not something that somebody gives to you. You cannot be passive to a purpose. You need to come and seek the purpose. You need to invest in order to find a purpose. So the responsibility of providing purpose is, on one side is for the leader to talk about it, but then on the other side, on the employee to actually find it.
In one of your video, you mentioned, I just watched your video and I just talked to you about this, but like I quote, customer experience is about creating value for customers and is profitable for the company. So how we combine that and also make it work both sides most of the time or all the time?
Okay, perfect question. So when I work at HP, I had a very interesting question to ask the candidates to be to work in sales. And my question was, when do you walk away from the deal? When do you reject the deal? Walk away. And 99% of them said, no, I never walk away. If you kick me out, I come back. I am stubborn. I'm not going to leave it. And I said, stop. What do you think you're selling? Because if you're going to take every deal, you're going to bring the worst deals. And to answer your question, customer experience is only deserved to those who paid profitable prices. And when you go and chase market share, or when you bring customers who are cheap, then you're never going to be able to be profitable. And I'll tell you more than that, Mutita. In every company, look at your customers and you'll see that two key groups of customers: the frequent and profitable and the frequent and unprofitable. And the problem is that when you serve the unprofitable customers, you take profit margins from the profitable and you finance these people. And these people never paid for the great customer experience. The profitable customers paid for it, but the profitable customers do not get an amazing experience because you're busy working with the frequent and unprofitable. In short, FUs. The FUs, send them to your competitions. You focus on. So the essence of your question, the answer to your question is, if you want to have customer experience that is exceptional and profitable, you need to focus on the right customers. And I have to tell you, even as an entrepreneur, even as a small business, I had to teach all my people, we've got to find the right customer for who we are. Not all of the customers will appreciate what we bring. Not all of them are willing to pay for it. So we need to find and be very careful, because the moment we got into the relationship, it's going to be very, very expensive to service them. So we want to make sure that we are working with the right people. And that is a discipline that a lot of entrepreneurs are not having because they're desperate for cash flow. And then they're going to bring some of the worst customers, going to get stuck with servicing them, and then they don't have time to deliver exceptional experience to the customers that are worth their efforts and are going to stay with them longer. And I'll give you a very, very specific example, personal example to me. So I had one client that really loved my speeches, and he would fly me to the other side of the country to do the speeches and everything else. But he would not give me any additional consulting work for my employees. Okay, he only took my time, but not my employees. And I eventually canceled the contract. And he said, "Why? I'm paying for your time." I said, "Yes, but I'm looking for projects that can also employ my employees. I'm not looking to be an independent person. So if you're going to take all of my time, I cannot do other projects that will also bring business to the rest of the employees." So it takes discipline. It's not easy to give up a piece of business, especially, but this is a discipline that entrepreneurs who want to be successful and differentiate themselves based on an exceptional customer experience and profitable one, they need to make sure that they're focusing on the right customers and they're saying no to the wrong customers.
Oh my gosh. Is this related to who authoring your life story? Because that is the lesson that I'm learning this year, like 2024, firing bad guys clients.
Yes. And I have to tell you, I've done it many times because look, until we find the right match, yes, if you're not gonna be in control of your story, it's gonna be authored to you. Those customers are gonna author the story of your company because you're giving them the power. When you do not author your life story, which is what Dare to Author is all about, then you're giving agency to other people to write your life story. That's exactly the essence of it. And I know that life is full of unplanned events and so on and so forth, but it doesn't matter. If you do not author your life story, it will be authored for you. If you are not authoring it with the right customers, the wrong customers are going to write it for you. And I'm saying it here and everybody can hear me. The customer is not always right. The right customer is right. And the wrong customer belongs to the competition.
Keep that in mind, everyone, because the cost of onboarding wrong clients or customer is painful.
Absolutely. Get unstuck from your wrong customers.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And what do you think about the changes that we keep making? Like when we have self-doubt, like when life change or when we want to change the narrative of life, why it's sometimes failed more often than success?
Let's talk about that. This is actually the reason why Dare to Author was written. Because in Extrativity, we work with over 400 transformations around the world with some of the biggest brands, really from healthcare to finance to airlines. We've seen them all. And everybody thinks that change is failing because we are afraid of the future. But what we found out is that change is failing because we are stuck in an old story. And I need to help them write the new story. So that's the first thing. People are stuck with the old story and they're not letting go of the old story. That's the first issue. The second issue, and I'll give you an example. During COVID, a lot of clients called me and they said, "Oh, we don't know what to do. We don't know what to do." And I said, wait a second. How do you feel? And they told me their feelings. And basically what they were trying to say to me is, this is unprecedented. We've never had such a situation. And I said, I understand that you feel that way, but it also means that you feel that you have no tools and that you are helpless. So I suggested the following exercise. I said, when was the last time you had an unprecedented event? Let's go visit that event because you survived it. You're still talking to me. And for many people in America, it was the 2009 financial crisis. So we went to this chapter and we analyzed it together and we wrote it like it's a hero story. What was the threat? Who's the villain? Who's the victim? Who's the hero? Who's the turning point? And then after we wrote it, I said, here's what we learn about your skills and your resilience. You can handle unplanned events. These are the superpower that you use to handle them. These are the values. This is what you can do. Now, let's take this mindset and these tools and apply them to COVID. And in the book, there is a whole chapter that can help everyone write their COVID chapter, their COVID experience, their COVID story. So here's my main message to people who are struggling with change. The reason why you struggle with change is because you did not author your past experiences and converted them into future resilience and future tools. You have a lot of stuck chapters that you didn't complete, that you did not author. The process of authoring your life story is not in order to write a journal or to write something nice for your grandchildren. It's in order to give you to convert the experiences into their future resilience and future strength. And that's what we learned in our work. If I want people to transform, if I want people to change, I need to help them convert the old experiences into future tools.
Oh, wow, crystal clear. We need the tools to overcome it. And then,
and they're sitting in our past experiences, but we are not analyzing these experiences to bring them to the future.
You mentioned about the victimhood, like in the past, how that victim story impact to the future success then.
So in general, our default reaction or response to change is victimhood. We become victims. We blame other people, we deny the situation, we play miserable, we feel bad. We're never embracing it. This is exactly what the book is trying to say. Guys, you're in victimhood. You're letting someone else write your own story instead of you becoming the hero of your story. So be aware that other prejudice, biases, fears are doing this to you. And by creating the awareness, you can start building the position of hero and not the position of victim in your own life story. And let's take one example. So in the book, I have a dedicated chapter to the impostor syndrome. The impostor syndrome is this fear that maybe I'm fake and maybe one day they'll discover that I don't have the capabilities that I tell people. And you know what? Everyone that face a new challenge feel that. I want first all your listeners to understand, imposter syndrome is normal. If you're facing a challenge you've never done before, it's normal to have imposter syndrome. Now, you will eventually succeed in the challenge, but you would still feel bad. Why? Because the anxiety of the imposter syndrome is going to eat up your success with doubt, with skepticism. That's a great example of a prejudice, of a bias that is today writing your life story, and even your successes are becoming, in your mind, potential failure. This is the saddest example of how outside prejudice and biases are writing our life story. Instead, if we would have been writing our own life story, this will not be happening, and we'll be able to enjoy the fruit of our work.
Wow. So what is the process of authoring that we can at least start practicing then?
Excellent. So as I said, I'm going to use right now the chapter about COVID. And the reason why I chose COVID is because in COVID, Mutita, all of us were starting like victims, the whole world. And nobody knew what to do. The health organization did not know, the academia, universities did not know, the government did not know, the UN did not know. The whole world started as victims. It was unprecedented. It was unplanned. Nobody knew what to do. And we had to get out of it. So here's how we do it. Like any great book that you have enjoyed before, it starts with some kind of a threat, and we describe it. I have questions that talk. So that's how you felt about the threat. How did the threat, evolve to you? Then we start to hear about our friends maybe not surviving or something, so the threat becomes very real. And there's usually a villain, a negative character. And then there comes a turning point where from a passive position, you are saying, okay, I'm done. I'm done being passive. I have to do something. And then you use your superpower and you start activating it. That's the turning point. And then when you actually succeed and become the hero, there is another realization. Some old values are going to be gone and new values are going to be shining. And then there's a new reality, a new future. So every good story has the threat, the villain, the victim, the turning point, the superpower, the new realizations, and the new values. And when you take your life experiences and follow the questions in the book is a guide, it's not just a text. You will see how you will morph an experience that you did not plan into some new lessons.
And how can we use this story after we start writing and collecting this story? How can we use it in real life example?
Okay, so I'll give you a great little story that I bring in the book as well. So I'm sitting in the back of a major hotel. We are doing a conference, and the CEO says to me, "Oh, Lior, I want you to coach me on public speaking because you're doing so well, and I'm a banker. I don't speak well with audience." And I said, "You really want my coaching?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Let me ask you a question. Why do you love this company? Tell me why you love the company. When did you fall in love? It's a very, very known brand, very old brand. When did you fall in love with it? Why did you fall in love with it?" And so on. And he tells me that. And I said, it's very interesting. So now when you're going to go on stage to speak, I want you not to use your slides. I want you to go and tell them this story. And he said, "Why?" I said, "Just go tell them the story. And then you see for yourself." And you could hear, the silence was so amazing. You could hear even a pin drops in the middle because everybody was captivated by his story. And he came to me afterwards like, "Why did it work?" I said, "You know why did it work? Because people don't follow facts. We're not facts people. We're stories people. People are activated by stories, not by data. And the problem is that you were trying to activate human beings with data, and they don't respond well to that. A lot of us look at the scale and we don't like our weight, and the data is not good, but we're still not changing, So my point to leaders is stories is your tool to captivate and activate your people. Every employee can give you average performance or exceptional performance. Exceptional performance is a personal choice of the employee. When they're going to make this personal choice? When they're going to feel that you are a leader that they are is worth following. When you have a purpose that is worth pursuing. When you are inviting them to bring themselves and to make an impact and not just to follow the rules. So stories are your tools to do a couple of things. Activate them, captivate them, but also establish how high you want the performance to be. Because with stories, we can actually inspire their imaginations. And they say, "Oh, that's what you want. I know how to do that."
Oh, I have aha moment also. Oh,
good.
That's why. But I am learning though, but I used to getting worse than right now. That fact, let's say like what you said, like fact collectors and also fact telling, like storytelling is not something that in nature of many people, me included. Let's say, how would you suggest practicing that? Like I know that you suggest already start authoring, but to change from writing to speaking.
Okay. So let's talk about, Mutita, why do you think you're not a good storyteller? Let's have this conversation. Why do you think you're not a good storyteller?
I'm not sure. I think the story that is not coming from my heart, like directly, that I didn't plan, like something that I didn't like have planned, like start, finish, or like something like that. It wouldn't be as flow as I'm talking to you right now.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So first, in the book, I recognize that different people will take the same situation and tell it in a different way. Some people will focus just on the results. Some people will focus on the process that we got to the results. Some people will focus on the emotions that they felt during the results. Some people will try to turn the story into inspiration for the future. So there are different styles of communication. But to tell a story, I would challenge you, Mutita, right now to think the following. When you have facts, you're hiding behind the facts, and they're not emotional to you. They are just facts. So it's very convenient for you to spit the facts to other people and to hope that they will pay attention. When I'm asking Mutita to tell a story, I'm asking you to open your heart. I'm asking you to be a little bit vulnerable. And you're afraid of a couple of things. Maybe you say something that they will laugh. Maybe the vulnerability will make you feel uncomfortable because this is very personal to you. Maybe you were told that it's only business, it's not personal, so there is a prejudice. In all of these examples I just gave you, your own fears are authoring your life story. Your fear of opening up, your fear that vulnerability will cause laughter, your fear that it's not business to speak about personal. But the simple truth is, Mutita, if you want your employees to care for your customers, this is a personal choice of them. This is not something you can mandate. You cannot give them facts about it. If you want them to smile sincerely, it's a personal choice. If you want them to be creative, it's a personal choice. So you are asking your employees to bring their personal choice into the workplace, but you're not willing to open up your personal heart. It doesn't work that way. The luck to their heart is in your personal story. Now, does not mean that you need to tell them everything. Does not mean that you need to embarrass yourself. In the book, I'm guiding leaders how to think about sharing stories that will be effective and will drive action. I'm not asking you to tell your life story just to bore them or just to feel vulnerable. But I'm saying use the stories in an intelligent way. Use the story with the purpose of what you're trying to activate. So when you put some boundaries around it, it's a little bit more comfortable. So that's the first thing. The second thing is practice. Especially if you don't feel comfortable, write it down to yourself and ask yourself, what's the purpose of why I'm sharing these things? What is the activation that I'm doing? This book, by the way, is my 10th book. All my previous books were business books, and I did not open up myself there. In this book, I did open up myself. I told about childhood scars. I told about my fears. I told about my impostor syndrome. And a lot of people who knows me reached out and said, you've never exposed yourself before, and this is actually showing a different side of you. And I said, here's my question to you. What did it make you feel when you read it? And they told me all the same thing. It felt like you wrote this book for me. It felt like you understand me. When you talked about your imposter syndrome fear, I felt permission that my imposter syndrome is real and it's legitimate, and it can be overcome. It can be conquered. So in the book itself, I practice what I preach, which is I told my personal stories in order to connect with people, in order to give them permission, in order to give them reality check.
Well, thank you for sharing me these tips though.
Sure.
I think I also still finding the style of teaching. I think I got a comment when I went for when client hire me for training and I got feedback, and I still cannot find the style that I also comfortable doing that and the clients like, and I feel like this is my signature or something, even though it's the same topic as well. That's why I'm not as that comfortable saying that I'm a good storyteller. No, I just don't feel confident about that yet. Yeah, that those feedback still hit me.
Sure. So here's a trick. Here's a trick that you can do, okay? In the book, I talk about the phenomena that I called the gratitude denial syndrome.
Never heard of it before. Okay.
When people give us good feedback, when people give us compliments, we tend to deny it, to dismiss it, to downplay it. And I am arguing in the book that not only this is not the right response, but it's a very dangerous response, because this feedback is actually helping you identify your superpower. Because when you actually listen to all the feedback, you'll see a common theme, you'll see a common thread, you'll see that they are actually helping you understand, Mutita, this is who you are. Don't try to be someone else, but when you speak to us, when you coach us, when you give us feedback, this is what the impact that you create for us. So I am challenging you to pay attention to this feedback, to write it down, to look at it and understand that you might feel lack of comfort in certain things, but your power to influence people in a certain way might lead you to this place. So don't deny the good feedback, don't deny the gratitude, because it's also the energy that we need for the next challenge. Otherwise, we come when the engine doesn't have gas.
Yeah, I agree. It's the same as finding the right clients as well to be the next one. That's what I find out as well, that's maybe why they are not the right clients for my teaching or my training. That's what I discover as well.
Yes.
So yeah. Oh wow, I have a lot of aha moments today. So in case anyone want to buy your book, please share. And where can they follow your content then?
So I'm very active on LinkedIn and on my website. And feel free to join me. I'm inviting people. LiorArussy.com. I post all of my articles from Fest Company, Chief Executive, and other places. We update the videos. It's a wealth of information available to you. Please use it. Please share it, and have hopefully being inspired. The book is available on Amazon and other places. So seek the book, and if you really love someone, give him a copy, because the book will help a lot of your friends who are struggling with victimhood to start living life of victory and transform their scars into stars.
So I hope Get Unstuck Nation, anyone who's still listening to here, you have aha moment like me. And if you couldn't catch any part, please watch the replay or see the timestamp and recap the good stuff today in this episode, because I know that it's all good things that, you didn't hear the breakdown details like this from many experts that sharing about the writing process and the way of thinking. So thank you so much, Lior, for joining Get Unstuck Podcast today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Have a great day ahead.
Thank you.
I hope this episode inspires you wherever you are in your entrepreneurial journey, so that you can have your business that supports your lifestyle. Get a show note at getunstuckmethod.com/podcast. Review what we have learned together today and start implementing right now. See it by yourself. The results of your consistent action are worth it. You deserve the freedom to enjoy your life. Until the next episode, let's get unstuck.